Check, 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 check.
Oh, I hear me now. And I like it. Bow, 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 bow. I feel really short. I couldn't get the chair to go up any higher.
Is there another one?
There's that one, but I don't like it. It's weird.
What's wrong with that chair?
I don't know. It's
The ergonomic design isn't good enough.
It looks like a monster.
Well, one day we'll talk about ergonomic chairs.
Ooh, should I write that down? Oh.
So doing this show, you're going to introduce. You're going to be the lead.
Yes.
I'm going to be the passive voice. This is going to be revolutionary.
And I've never done it, so I don't feel great about it. I don't feel confident. Maybe I need to feign confidence, and then it will just come.
I feel great about it because it's going to bring such praise onto me. Like, that guy doesn't even care. There's like no power struggle there. He's letting the female take the lead. Wow.
It looks good. Like optics looks good.
Yeah.
Wow, he's so brave. He let the woman take over the show. Oh, wow.
I patted myself on the back this morning when I was putting on my pants. It was quite the feat because I was doing the two things at the same time. But I did think to myself, I was like, I really don't even care. It doesn't even bother me in the least if Autumn is the lead. Like, that means I'm a good person.
See, but isn't that a problem really in itself that you are considering me? Normally a woman wouldn't. I should feel.
No, that's not what's happening. I'm considering what other people are thinking, which it's a whole other problem.
Okay.
It's a whole other problem. But
because that reminds me of when every once in a while I'm like speaking to a black person and we're getting along and they're super normal and I'm super normal and I'm thinking, wow, look at us. A white person and a black person getting along. Aren't we special? No, we're not special. It turns out that there's a lot of normal people. But a long time ago, I guess, I don't know, when I was younger, I would never have thought about that. I would never have thought about their race, my race. It was just me having a conversation with someone. And now it's like, wow.
But why is that? That's not because of you, because now you're thinking about what other people would be thinking in such a situation.
I feel like today, 2018, that it's become so divisive, right? That it's supposed to be like, in reality, white people aren't going to include you. They're not really a
Or
friend.
you need to prove that
or
you're not.
vice versa.
You
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
prove that you're not racist. Like, look at me, everyone look at me. I'm talking to a black person. Hey,
Right.
look at me.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're taking the lead, and you need to introduce the show that doesn't have a name at this point.
Okay. Welcome to our show. This is the first episode. I would say it's sort of like the beta episode because it's really just an introduction on of who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the fact that we don't have a name or intro music planned out yet. But we will. I have a name that I really like.
Sorry, I'm leaving you hanging. You said who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and I was going to get the other W's in there, like where we're doing it.
Where we're doing it, how, when. I really like the name Studio WTF because on our other show, the Von Hessler Doctrine, we both have segments. Mine is WTF and yours is from Studio B1.
Yes, okay, here's the thing.
So I like it on its own. I think Studio WTF is kind of interesting name. And then also it ties back to our roots.
It's time for us to spread our wings and fly. We're still tied to that show. We still enjoy doing the other show. But this is the moment where we can break away a little bit and do a different show,
okay.
which leads to the next thing here is what are we going to do with our show? Because with the podcast, when it first started on Eric's show, it was just us in a basement and talking about whatever and wherever we go. Start a topic, it goes on a tangent, follow it, fine. And I love that.
Yes, I do too.
But what the hell does it matter if we do that? It's the same show without Eric.
And we do that a little bit on our podcast 30 for the Doctrine. And I think that people get upset that we never finish something that we've started sometimes.
So what we're going to do, this is the idea, is each show is only one topic.
Right.
It could be any topic.
Right.
This first topic will be podcast. Why are we even doing a podcast?
Yes.
Which I don't know if we should be doing, but we'll get into that. Just because I have self-doubt.
Yeah.
Like I've subconsciously been avoiding this.
Right,
So-
which made me feel like you didn't care about doing it.
But in the future, we could talk about, you have a notebook. You've
I have a
been taking
notebook.
notes.
I have a special notebook dedicated for the show. It's beautiful. I've written down many pages of topics such as.
Well, let's set this up.
Okay. See, I'm bad at this. You're already doing it.
Well,
I'm so bad at it.
You're not bad. You're not bad. I just want to set this up because it's funny. You went out alone last night.
Yes.
And you're not even drinking.
Nope, I'm not
alcohol.
drinking the alcohol. I drank a cherry Coke.
And so you ordered a cherry Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a bar or a restaurant?
It was a bar.
You went to the bar.
I felt bad.
And you sat there with your notebook,
mm-hmm.
writing ideas for the show that you thought I didn't want to do.
Yes, I did. I thought I was trying to come up with some names of the show.
It's a sad existence.
And I was writing. I'm going to continue past that. I was writing.
It's actually not. I think it's a better existence. You're trying to be productive than the person who goes and drinks and gets drunk alone at the bar.
Yeah. I heard some really funny conversations because I was sitting outside. So, a couple would come out and they would smoke. And I would sort of eavesdrop on what they were talking about. Like, she called her mom. Her mom's been a lot better since she got that boyfriend. Yeah. Thought that was fun.
Did you put that in the notebook? Conversations that people have at bars that are stupid.
Adults who have boyfriends.
Yeah. See, we're already talking about so many different things, but it all falls into this umbrella statement of what this podcast is about.
This particular podcast today, this episode is not going to be super. The only focus of this one is talking about our podcast, which will be many topics one topic every episode. So we're going to talk about maybe what those topics might be or why we're doing that.
See, this is my problem with this podcast. When I said we're going to be talking about us, who the hell do we think we are? I was lying in bed, and I haven't been avoiding doing this. I really haven't, but I was lying in bed, and I was thinking,
have been avoiding it.
Subconsciously, I probably have, but it has nothing to do with you or not wanting to do the show. Mm-hmm. It's just complete self-doubt because, what do I have to say? It's so different or special. I can't even complete thoughts on my own when I'm at home. I'm going to boil some eggs. You set the water, it gets boiling, and I forget that it's boiling. Once it boiled out, the water boiled out. So it's I can't even pay it. I'm going to go on and talk to people. It's listen to me, a non-authority, and some guy who just thinks he's qualified for this.
Well, I think we should do it because on the show, on The Doctrine, we are the ones I think that don't get our opinions out as well or as easily as Tim or, of course, Eric.
That's because you're a woman.
I know. Isn't that funny?
Not allowed to have.
Isn't that funny, that joke that we do about me being a woman? La, 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 it's so funny.
See? No. That's cathartic. It's like the show is also going to serve as some catharsis. You
Sure.
can rail against the fact that you're shut down for being a woman. It's a funny joke.
Yep. It was funny.
Was it? Was it ever funny?
I mean, it was like, all right, let's explore that.
It's social commentary. You make the comment.
Yes.
And then, okay, good.
It's always interrupted. Like the beginning of what I'm saying is interrupted, and then Eric will joke about me. How would I know, or what am I talking about because I'm a woman, or I would only know that because I'm a woman. And then, just kidding, continue. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I have to connect the thing. Oh, let's complain for just a second. On the show, when
okay,
maybe we shouldn't complain.
You can complain in this show. This is why I don't like the name. And hold your thought, because I do want to know what you want to complain about. Okay. But this is why I'm railing against Studio WTF, which are segments, because I don't want this show to be a supplementary show to the other show. I want this show to stand on its own. And so this first one, people know us. Obviously, the people who are going to be listening to us are people who listen to the other show. But I would like to separate it. So get your bitching out now.
I kind of forgot what it was.
I told you to remember it. And that's going to drive me crazy.
I'll remember it. What does he do that we hate? What is it? It's I don't remember what it was. We'll have to go back. I'll remember it later.
You should have written it down in your notebook.
Oh, my notebook.
So
what's the name of our show?
I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Okay, let's talk about how when I went out alone last night, I went out alone because Greg decided to fill our empty Friday whole day with activities. Seeing people, having times with friends.
Yeah.
Being a good friend to other people, but not me.
So we're both in Atlanta right now. And there's an opportunity to knock out this first episode, and I filled my time because personal relationships with people that I don't see that often, a friend I haven't seen in over a year, and a friend whose birthday it was. I was like, I talk to Autumn quite often, and I want to do this show, but we can do that show. So I'm going to go see these people. And I'm not going to say that there isn't part of me that, as I expressed the doubt for doing this podcast, like, is this really? And then I guess anyone going to listen to it? Probably not, but that's fine. I'm not going to listen to it either. We'll record these things and just put them out there, and that'll be the end of it. I'll never track numbers. I assume you will. And I don't want to know what they're looking like. So that's fine. But yes, if we settle into a groove, I'll feel better about it. Usually once we start doing these things, I feel better about it. It's just the idea going in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anytime I do anything that's going to be public, I'm just sick for days.
Well, none of that was communicated with me. We both did a lot of assuming. So to me, I'm excited to come down. I'm here for the Christmas show. We recorded that Thursday. And then Friday, we weren't working. So we had all day. And I assumed that you would also be excited to get sort of our podcast going. We have a whole Friday to do whatever we needed to do. I brought a mini board. I brought a microphone. I brought my laptop. I brought cords to try and make it happen. I brought I brought 2 microphones. Anyway, and so I was thinking that you would have also thought about that Friday, all day, having this free time to dedicate to what's the title of our show? What are we going to talk about? And so all day I'm waiting and thinking, okay, well, that lunch, he's got a lunch and then he has dinner. Okay, so what time's dinner going to end? I guess like into the evening, but not too late. And then he texts me. So I'm like milling around, deciding what I'm going to do. Should I really get into like the texting back and forth too?
You can talk about whatever you like.
Okay, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll go see this movie at midnight.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show. At the Plaza. And Greg's still at this dinner. He's saying to come out, and so I'm deciding whether I will. You were slow. I said come out, and then 2.5 hours later, it's like, I'm on my way. I was like, yeah, we're leaving.
Yeah. So I was like, ugh. So then I just got out of the hotel, and I walked a really, kind of a mile or two, a mile and a half down the road, and then to clear your head. To clear my head.
You went out into the chill Atlanta night.
Yes.
In the dangerous streets.
Yeah. In the darkness.
Which, by the way, right on that street in front of the Highland Inn once.
Yeah.
After that David Byrne show.
Yeah.
When we were at that bar in the Highlands, and I said, I'm going to sleep. There was just a man in a hospital gown just wandering, and he just stared at me from a block and a half away.
No.
Yeah. And it was creepy. I've never really been creeped out on the streets. The guy just stared at me the whole time as I approached him. He was in the hospital. He had the bands on his arms.
Wow.
So I don't know what his deal was.
He was a zombie.
Probably. He did look like a zombie. And I thought it was the one time that I may be attacked.
Right. This is it.
Anyway, so you went out. So
yeah, I went out and I was frustrated. I called Travis. I complained.
What advice did Travis give you?
Well,
First, what did you say? You just complained. I know you complained about.
I said, I'm a little annoyed.
This lack of presence that you felt from me.
Yeah. I told him I'm a little annoyed. I thought that we would. He's like, you still haven't recorded it? No. He's out at this dinner. He's there forever. He texted me he could be back by 11:55 to go to the movie. I was like, are you going to be out that late? Forget it. So then I just resigned myself to think, well, if he doesn't want to really commit, and what if this is a sign, a sign of things to come, that, okay, we're going to record every Wednesday and we're going to do our thing. And then a lot of, well, Greg's not answering or he's made other plans. And so I decided to, okay, let's move on. It's still our show, but let's not put Greg's name in it so that it doesn't have to be.
You're already planning. So it doesn't have to be us? What do you mean don't put my name in it? So if we start doing this and I bail, you can just fill in with someone else?
I wouldn't necessarily fill in with someone else, but I would try to, not with someone steady. Maybe I would have different people or something. I don't know, but I decided I wanted to play it safe. So like my first suggestion, my first title that I wrote down was, but listen, this is all just brainstorming, right? So
I would like to say I like that you have a notebook. I enjoy this.
Oh, good. Okay.
You take a book around and you take notes.
I do love a notebook.
It
I love
reminds me-
writing things down in real life. Like I don't like a computer where you're like taking notes. I don't
No,
like
I
that.
agree. It reminds me of days of when I cared. I used to carry a little notebook around in my back pocket.
You should do it now so that you can write down funny things that you think about on the train or something.
If I get inspired, I will.
Okay, well, get inspired.
I'm trying to get inspired.
Okay, good. So I wrote down one topic, which is not a great title. One topic with Greg and Autumn, or Autumn Greg.
You could put your name first. Doesn't bother me. Okay. I keep interrupting you, and I apologize.
It's all right.
I know I told you that you could take the lead, and I want you to take the lead, but I feel like for a little bit, and I've already taken over, and I'm steering this. I feel
It's all right. You have more experience doing this, so I'm going to learn from you,
So you'll just introduce, and then
and then you'll take over from there.
You'll be the first voice that people hear. So yes, we're figuring out the structure of the show. So Autumn's going to open the show, and then I'll take over. Just drive it and steer it. Your opinions are, I'll stop. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm going to listen.
70-30.
No, it's going to be 50-50.
60-40.
I mean, some days you may be 90-10. 90 you
Sure.
and 10 me.
Sure.
So, okay.
Okay.
This is the structure. No title at this point. You're running through the titles.
It's All We've Got, which is another title I wrote down. These aren't great.
What was the thinking behind It's All We've Got?
This is our only place where we can get out our opinions uninterrupted.
Yeah,
And we like the name Uninterrupted, but there's a billion podcasts called Uninterrupted.
Yeah, everything's called Uninterrupted.
Yeah.
Naming things is tough. It is. I threw some suggestions out weeks ago.
And we forgot what they were.
Yeah. I didn't write them. They're in text message logs. But
We talked about unpacking because we were going to unpack a topic. So I wrote down unpacking life, which I hated the part where it says life. So I just scratched that out and wrote unpacking. But then, it's not great.
What else do you have?
Take on me. Take it on.
So
I was thinking about the song.
would Aha be our theme?
Yeah. It's a little cheerful.
You think it's too upbeat?
Yeah,
You're an upbeat person.
that's true.
What else?
Did I say one at a time already?
No, I don't think so.
It's bad.
They're all blurring together, but
Yeah, one at a time. I said sounds like a show on ABC about family or something. One at a time.
are we cursing on this one, by the way?
One at a time, starring Scott Baio. What?
Are we going to curse on this one?
I think we can. I don't think we should rely on it. We shouldn't just go crazy. But if something pisses us off, we could say, like, that's bullshit. I did it. You know what I mean? We'll be adults, but like not children where we're like, we get to curse. Let's curse it up.
You don't want to just fucking force these damn God fuck words in?
No, fuck that.
Okay. Out of what I just said, people are going to take most offense to God. Like, did you hear what
We're
he
going to get
said?
the explicit now on the iTunes.
So the kids can't download it.
Mm-mm.
That's a shame because I want our audience to be kids.
Yeah, especially when we talk about the topic puberty
I want
I wrote down.
I want to be popular with the kids. We go do a live taping at some point. It's just filled with a bunch of screaming children.
I could just record that from my house.
Is that? I guess there's fulfillment in that. If you fill a theater, but it's with kids, do you think people do children's shows? I know we're getting off topic. It's going to be tough.
Oh, okay.
I just wonder. It's like, I want to be an entertainer, so I'm going to get into the entertainment business. And you take a gig because you want a gig, and it's a kids show, but then it becomes wildly successful, so you can't really leave it because you're making money.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a steady job, and then you fill these theaters with children. If it's not what you set out to do, some people may set out to do it. I just wonder what you think.
I think that those people got started, like you said, kind of on accident, because you have to be a really special type of person for it to be your passion to work with kids. And I feel like there's got to be a very small percentage of people who work with kids and entertain for kids that started it out because they just love kids. I think
Like Mr. Rogers.
he wanted to make something for children.
Yeah, he wanted to change lives and help.
But like the Wiggles, I don't think that they started out.
Yeah, it's just people who got casted. It's like, I need a job.
Yeah.
Someone came up with that idea, and that was their passion. And then like, we need to fill this thing out.
Or like those musicians that are just for kids. Like they had to have started out with like a dark, weird, emotional couple of albums that they made CDs in their basement with their PC when people were burning CDs. You know what I mean?
Or the guy who sings the songs about all the different trucks. You ever heard that one?
No.
Like the dump truck song here. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
Did this run out?
That's an ad.
Oh.
But there's this guy, so he just sings songs about fire trucks and cranes, bulldozers. This ad's still going on.
I refuse to listen to Christmas. I refuse to listen to kids' music with my kids.
Dump truck!
Oh, I might be changing my policy on listening to kids' music. Jared would like this.
Dump, 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 dump it. Dump it, dump truck. Dump, dump, dump it. Dump it, dump truck. Dump, dump
That was amazing.
truck. Oh, dump it. Loading up some boulders, working with the loader, or maybe even a backhoe.
So it's the same voice. It's the same voice. This guy is set out to... This should be its own topic. The people see we're off. It's going to be very difficult. I think we need to stay somewhat focused. But this is us just hashing out our show. Like the show. What if the show turned out to be a big hit with kids?
I'm going to write down kids' music.
All right. Hey, this is what you have to look forward to if you listen to this show. A whole episode with this kids' music.
Right.
And we'll talk about the sad state of these people's lives.
Well, I don't understand kids bop. You know what kids bop?
Save it.
All right, I'm saving it. See, that's what you can look forward to. Find out about kids bop.
Yeah.
Our thoughts on kids music. Would you like to hear some other topics?
Well, I had a flow chart.
Oh, a flow chart?
Yeah, because I'm trying to just plan out how this show is going to work.
See, that's good. Good job.
Well, as we go along, that's what we're doing. We're hashing this out. So we still don't have a
Okay.
title.
Yes.
We've set it the dynamics between us.
Yes.
We're introducing what we're going to be doing,
Yes.
which is supposedly one topic per show. It's going to be very difficult not to.
It's going to be an exercise, and I'm sure we'll get better at it as we go.
I just feel like there needs to be something different that we offer. Hey, here are two people who don't really know much about anything, but they admit it. They don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to talk about things. I don't know what the appeal in that is. And also, how are we going to deliver things? You know,
Master of None.
that's a show with.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, what's his name?
Mike Rowe.
No,
That's Dirty Jobs.
what's his? People are going to say I'm racist because I can't remember his name.
Oh, because he's a black person?
No, he's not a black person.
He's different than you?
Aziz Ansari.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Why don't you remember that? I don't remember anyone's name. It's not because of his ethnicity.
He doesn't remember my name because I'm ethnic.
Yeah, I bet if it was a white guy, you'd remember.
That was my Aziz impression.
He
So-
doesn't remember because I'm ethnic.
So yeah, that's not a bad name on him, but it's already been done.
Well, okay. How about...
And I think we got to play coy when we deliver. Like if we do have a topic and we want to get interesting with it, this is a big thing in podcasting. The people who deliver it, they know what they're talking about. They've done their research, but they don't want to sound like they're know-it-alls. So they deliver things. For example, like a podcast. If they wanted to tell you the history of the podcast, but I think here's the actual line. Podcasting, once an obscure method of spreading information, has become a recognized medium for distributing audio content. It would have been delivered as I think the podcasting. It was obscure at one point, but it has really grown mainstream. There's this coyness to it that really annoys me with a lot of these podcasts. Well, I don't know what that's about. It's like I can't come out too strong or too impactful because it may turn people off.
Do you think that's why they're doing it? I thought it would be
It's a
just
style.
to sound like they're not reading.
Yeah, sure.
But then you're
if
right,
they
because
wanna
then
be-
they're like co-opting it as their own idea, original ideas maybe.
there's a passive voice to a lot of podcasts.
Yes.
Even though they really can't be passive because you're informing in some way or entertaining, but there's a passivity that is introduced that's completely false. It's just fabricated. And I think this started with that Serial podcast. It is. It's an
Yeah.
NPR style public radio, and everyone's mimicking it. So I don't think we want to do that, right?
No.
Okay. So that's checked off the list.
Okay. We're just going to be ourselves. I think maybe this is real conceited, but I feel like you're saying who are we? Why would we don't know? We're not like experts on something wanting to speak about the thing that we're experts about to discuss those things. We are the ones on our other podcast on our other show where we don't get to sort of spit out our opinions and ideas. So I thought that maybe people would want to hear them in an uninterrupted form.
I don't know where my phone is. I was going to look up a note. I think there was a note in there, something, true genius lies in knowing what a piece of shit you are. So that's it's the only thing that I'm an expert on, in knowing that I'm a piece of crap and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to get with this show.
Okay.
But you see how that leads to, like, really, why should I be doing it then? Do people want you to pretend that you're better than them somehow?
I don't feel like people will do that because we're not going to communicate that to people.
Okay. I'm having
And even if we do, we're going to be honest about who we are. Like I've always said this, like I have opinions and
But what makes your opinions better than other people's opinions?
It doesn't.
Why would people tune in to hear your opinions and not listen to their friend on a phone call bitch about something?
Well, that's a good point. But
And people like your impressions?
Yes. Okay. I think that
Are we doing those, by the way? I mean, I can't, but
we can.
You can
if they come up.
I'll just do. Sorry.
I think that plenty of people also have strong opinions and ideas, but when they get in front of a microphone, they're like, "Oh yeah, I just thought that." We know how to speak into a microphone. We know how to. That sounds horrible. Who doesn't know how to speak into a microphone? You go up to it. Well, surprisingly, a lot of people who get in front of a microphone, they like talk off of it, or they forget to put it to their face, or they can't form their opinions in such a way they can't keep talking. They're like, oh, I don't know, it's just stupid. I don't know. You know what I mean? We have experience speaking on the air. We have experience getting our point across. On our other show, sometimes that is very interrupted and halted and squashed down by Eric when he has no interest in what you're saying because he's already perceived it as something that's not real. Like for you, he's always telling you like you're in New York and so they've like infiltrated your brain instead of it being your original thought.
I will admit that's annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I'm liberal.
Yeah.
But
it's not because you're in New York.
No, and I mean, there's like surely could be an influence. I live around millions of people and I see people of all different socioeconomical status. And I have it in me that I would like to help other people.
Right.
But it tends to just be lumped into you're just as bad as the most extreme. And I never have an opportunity to actually explain my liberal views. So I don't even know. People just make their own assumptions and think that, I'm far, far, far left and insane. I was like, no, I'm rejected. Sadly, the way it's gotten is I'm rejected. I'm like, hey, I'm on your side. It's like, no, not good enough.
Right.
You're not good enough for us. So I was like, I'm okay.
Like Eric can complain about Trump, but if you do, then it's this unoriginal, brainwashed Greg instead of just your own thoughts and opinions, Greg. So that's annoying. And so I thought that would be this would be a good way for us to be able to speak and think out loud and to say what we want to say without anyone interjecting that like, oh, well, you're just a woman. Haha, jokes. Oh, well, in New York, you're squish you down. So I want to do that.
Okay.
So really, that's the only thing that makes it special. I don't think it's because, and I guess people like us.
Yeah, that's true. I am having a hard time. Yeah,
people love you, Greg. Well, people either don't get you or they.
It's
like one or the. It's very extreme.
Yes. I don't. What I see is like some people really dislike me.
Yeah.
But they'll come around.
Sure.
Some people stay hating me. And then some people like me.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be much apathy for a person who comes off as apathetic. I guess I've already, taken that mantle. It's like, well, he's already claimed apathy, so I've got to feel one way or another. It's not true. I feel a lot of things.
You do.
They're private. They're mine.
Well, I think our show would be really fun because the way that your brain works tickles me. I think that there are things that you do that I think anybody else could do, and I would think, oh, that's weird. But when you do it, it cracks me up. I think it's funny. I think you're this fun mix of strange and funny, and also you are very self-aware and honest about who you are. And just like with our sort of little first argument that, not really an argument, but just
last night in the hotel room.
Last night, our discussion about
separate hotel rooms, by the way, but
Yes.
I stopped by Autumn's hotel room because I feel like I knew you were feeling left out and maybe disappointed in me, so I stopped by.
Right, and so we hashed it out last night. But I felt safe to communicate how I was feeling with you and to tell you, I'm a little annoyed, and this is why. And you were honest enough to say, I wasn't meaning to put out and make you feel like I wasn't interested. But also, I am a little bit nervous about why we're doing it. Why are we important? All those things that you said already. So I felt like that was a great way to communicate. We were communicating perfectly. Like we were having this little thing where I was prickly about what was going on. And then you came to my room to sort of fix it, which was wonderful. And then we spoke honestly, and not in that way that I don't mean to keep complaining about Eric. I love Eric, but the way that when we talk about this kind of thing, he's like, oh, you believe in all that, mumbo jumbo.
It's dismissive.
It's dismissive. And so that's why we're doing this show, is because we can talk about these things. Because Greg and I last night didn't sit down together like, Greg, I need to speak to you about how I feel about our interactions earlier.
Yeah, it's not a difficult thing. You acknowledge the other person's feelings, and you actually aren't dismissive. You acknowledge them and accept them, and don't tell the person they're wrong for feeling that.
Right.
Even if it's irrational, like they're feeling it. It doesn't always tie to logic. Feelings can be irrational.
Yes.
So you acknowledge those, and then you
And
explain
it immediately
why.
puts out the fire. Acknowledging the emotion immediately, to me,
No one wants to be
dampens the
dismissed.
flame. Do you know what I mean? And when you do dismiss it, it throws fuel on that flame to make it like, but I feel it, instead of like, yeah, you're right. I can feel something and it not be this monster that takes over. It could we just laid it on the table. I was like, I feel like you didn't care, blah, 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 because of this and that. And you were like, well, I do care, but maybe I was, backing away because of my own insecurity. And then we talked about it and it was over.
Now here we are, and I will tell you, I'm fine now.
I
It's
know, me
always
too.
it's always leading up to these things where I feel self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Once I'm in the middle of it, it's like, yeah, this is fine.
This one is a little weird because we don't have a topic. So we are a little bit like without a rope right now.
Well, we're just hashing out what the show's going to be.
It's true.
We could just jump in and start, talking about shoes. We're going to talk about shoes today.
Shoes. The left one, the right one. Which is your favorite? Callers?
You ever get
We're
those
waiting for your call.
You ever get those shoes with those extra long shoelaces?
Weird.
It's like, why?
What do you
Why
do
are they
with
so
them?
long? You have to triple knot them just so they don't flop around.
You know what? I kind of like the flopping of it. It makes me feel like I'm really moving.
That's for the shoe show.
Shoe show. I'm sorry. I'll save it.
Put it in the
Save it.
notebook.
Shoe show.
Okay. Who the hell do we think we are?
Is that ours? Is that our name? Who the hell do we think we are?
No, that's just what it's still me thinking. You do something like this, and you are in a way saying, I think I've got something to say, which isn't directly saying, I think I'm better than you. And I'm not saying that everyone who does this thinks that. Surely people who do something like this do think they're better than other people. And that's the battle, but I'll get through it. So who the hell do we think we are? Could be a name of the show, but I think it's
It's
too
long.
Yeah, it's too long.
Well, acronym it. Is that acronym? Yeah.
Yeah, but does it really spell anything? Who the
Who
hell
the-
do we think we are? Wuth-da-wuth-dwa. My favorite new podcast, Wuth-da-wuth-twa. That's wrong. Wuth-dwa-twa. It doesn't work.
There's a French guy's like, ooh, toi, like toi.
He's getting off to it.
Don't make it dirty.
I'm not making it dirty.
Because
I mean,
I'll go dirty.
you can go dirty.
I like going dirty.
I don't even get that dirty. So if you go dirty, it'll be a nice balance. That's why I do think that our dynamic will work. We've known each other a very long time.
How long have we known each other?
Since 2001.
19 years?
Yeah. Well, no.
18? Did I do the wrong thing? 17?
No. I said yes first. And so obviously my math skills aren't up to par.
17 years?
Yeah, just take the year
I don't
and
know. I
subtract
know.
one.
I did the other way. I'm not good
17.
at maths.
So it was, well, no, I started, whenever, it was 2001 at some point.
Okay.
I don't know when you started interning.
I think I might have been 2002 because I don't think I was there the same year as 9/11. Because I was listening to 9/11 when I was going to my law firm job. And I was listening to the regular guys and they were talking about it. I was like, what?
All right, so 2002 for you.
Okay. But still, a long
2001 for me, but for us knowing each other, whatever. We've almost doubled our lives since we've known each other. We're getting to that point where it's like, I've actually known you longer. We're not quite there yet, but I've actually known you longer in my life than I didn't know you before.
Okay, so why were you telling us that?
I was just saying that I think our dynamic, we've known each other, so that's a big thing to know people, even though we've drifted apart at times and I wasn't invited to your wedding.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It wasn't. I wasn't offended. I just
know,
like bringing
it's
it
fine.
up because we weren't talking then, not for any negative reason. It was just our life paths had taken us apart, and then I'm glad that it's come back together.
Me too.
And then the differences in our personalities. You are more upbeat, and I am more nihilistic. But we're both able to talk openly with one another, and I think that the balance.
Well, you've gotten a lot more introspective.
Well, it's always been there, but
It was never a part of such a big part of your personality as it is now.
no, it was always there, and I've always cared about people. But I realized I was like, I gotta start like showing people and telling people.
Yeah. It was not off-putting when you started doing that. It was more like, wow, all right, Greg's like doing it. And I think if I were a different person, I would think, is he coming on to me? What's he doing? Like, why is he doing that? Because you would text me or you would tell me like, I love you. You
Yeah.
know? And
But it wasn't just out of the blue. Like
No.
we'd have a conversation.
Yeah.
And then I would tell you, but because I do. If
Yeah.
I just met you, I wouldn't be saying this. But
No,
this
I
is
know.
people I've known a long time, as we've established, and with you and me. We have known each other a long time. So yeah, I'm going to express such things. I do think it's like, what if Travis saw the text and thought it was something weird? But it's not.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not romantic love. Just, it's love.
Which Eric does not he likes to foster the idea that we have secretly been in love. You know, like, why didn't you guys ever sleep together?
Well, is that an expression of love? Maybe we have
Ooh.
always been in some kind of love that isn't a romantic love.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed you. I just always have. And I guess in the beginning, it was always like, well, maybe we would hook up or something. But then we never did. And I never consciously thought about, oh, I'm glad we didn't. Because we've talked about it on the show where we've slept in the same bed. Like I've cuddled with you. I've slept in the same bed with you, which is weird. But it was never.
I guess
I
it's
never
weird.
was like, will he make a move?
I guess when
Yeah,
you're,
it was never like that,
when
which
you're-
was so great. I loved that.
yeah, I don't want to be a creep.
Yeah.
I think in that situation in your early 20s and you're drunk and there's in the same bed, most people are like they're
Yeah.
gonna have sex.
Mm-hmm.
I think I always understood if I like someone, I knew I wasn't. Where would it go? Now you could have sex, and this should be a different topic again for a different show. But look, the rules are just we're setting this whole thing up.
Yes.
So anyway, that age, I guess I wasn't aware, and I'm not even saying that you would want a relationship, but in my mind, it'd be like, all right, we had sex, and either it's that, but we still see each other a lot, and then things are weird, because I surely wasn't mature enough to be like, hey, see you the next day. It's like, we just had sex, and it was just sex. That exists,
Yeah.
and I could probably do it now.
Yeah.
Not with you.
No, I know.
I'm just, I'm just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But not because I wouldn't want to, whatever.
Why not?
Yeah, see.
Am I not pretty?
Not that. But it's like I feel like it would just ruin the relationship.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where does it go? So either it's the one-time thing or a few-time thing, and then things get weird, or it's like, oh, we really like each other, and it's like the relationship would have surely ended. I haven't had a relationship that's lasted at this point, so that one wouldn't have lasted. I wasn't in any place. I'm barely getting to a place where I think I could have a lifelong lasting relationship.
Really?
I'm
That's
getting
nice.
close.
That's good.
We'll see. Hopefully it won't just be defeat. Like, I'm just going to do this because I'm supposed to. I would never do that.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything.
So the not having sex thing, isn't that strange? I don't know why these preconceived notions.
I know, but you're right. I mean, in your early 20s, 2 drunk people in a bed, where does that lead?
It's not even as fun to me. It's more fun to listen to Elton John, Philadelphia Freedom, and change
Yes.
the lyrics like we did, drunk, and just be like, hey, this is nice to be, hanging out with this person in this non-sexually threatening way.
Yeah. It takes it takes anything that would make anything uncomfortable. It takes the cheap thrill out of it. We invested in not having sex.
Yeah, now it's a thing.
And it wasn't even like a tough investment. We just like, oh.
It's not that hard. I don't know why. I wouldn't be able to do it.
I think because you are a different type of dude. You know? I don't know.
Avoiding intimacy, but yes.
Well, okay, so there was a time when you were in Atlanta for a long time helping Eric with the movie, and you got into a relationship, and that progressed pretty quickly, I feel like.
Yeah, I was taken with that.
Right, so what drove you sexually then to like step on the gas and make this thing happen? Did she step on the gas, like the sex gas, to make it?
Yeah, but it just kind of synced up. I think it was a couple of things. I was at that point questioning my existence, especially in New York, because I was freelancing and my savings was dwindling. I was like, what am I going to do? And then Eric offered the opportunity to come down and work on his documentary and help start the podcast in the basement. And he had money. And then so I was in Atlanta for extended time. And I was like, maybe I should come back, even though I didn't want to. I have nothing against Atlanta. I just still love New York. I still sit on the side of the plane I think Manhattan's going to be on when we fly up.
Really?
There's 2 flight paths into LaGuardia.
Mm-hmm.
One goes over Brooklyn and Queens. The other goes up the Hudson River. Usually it's over Brooklyn and Queens. And so I sit on the left side of the plane so I can see Manhattan. And if we take the other flight path, then I get really angry because you have to look at New Jersey. You can't see the city. But just to say, I still really like living in New York. But so I was questioning things and my existence and what was next. And then I came down here and I met someone who we really hit it off. There was a chemistry between us that I don't know.
So it
how
takes
to,
a special chemistry for you
it doesn't need
to
to be.
feel sexual? Because I feel like there's a lot of stories where you don't want sex with someone. Like you're not interested in the sex with someone. And then eventually it gets there.
Yeah, this can be a different topic too.
Well, but this is about specifically you.
Sure, but I know, but for a different time.
I know, you're
but to
right.
answer, no, it doesn't always need to be like that. There's many different ways to get into a relationship.
Yeah.
That one just happened to be one that was like a very bright burning sun that ended in a supernova.
That's what Travis thought when he and I met and got together. He kept saying like, Autumn, we're burning too hot.
Almost going to explode instead
Yep.
of a long, slow burn like our main sequence star sun.
Yes. Yes.
Which with a relationship is probably what you want.
Luckily, Travis and I did not supernova out.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it last night. I was saying, I just really love him. And not just love him, but like I really like him still. And I feel like our 2 kids and, being together, I think we've been together for 7 or 8 years, married for 5. And I guess that can lead to a lot of apathy and not just being like, oh, we got to get a lot of stuff done. We're just like roommates, not that typical like married couple roommate thing, but just someone where I'm dealing with
Especially with
in
kids.
my house, in our house. Yeah.
Because there's just so much work to be done.
There's so much logistics to discuss with this person that they end up just being like a business partner in some ways, And I am just so lucky and grateful that I like him. And little things that have surprised me about who I am. Now, we've talked a little bit about you. This is somebody who I am typically in my life so far. I've always had these like long-term boyfriends. And near what I didn't know was maybe the end of relationships, I would start hanging out. Well, so I have a lot of male friends. I have really close girlfriends, but mainly I make friends with guys. I think because women sometimes don't get my jokes or I want to talk about, like, I want to say something that's gross or dirty. And women are so typically sometimes can be very shocked by that. And then I feel like, am I being too much? Or like they're not going to like me because I'm gross or something. Anyway, so men and also men will tell you how they, like, if they're pissed instantly and will tell you, and then you can hash it out and then it's done, which I really enjoy. I like switching right when we're done. Like, okay, we've talked about it. We were mad a second ago. Now we've worked it out and it's over. I like that. I feel like men are typically more like that.
Not all of them.
No, of course not. Not all of them.
What if you experienced a dude who, I guess Travis is like that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess Travis is like that because, it's what you like.
Well, not really.
Well, here you go. This is good, though, because now you're accepting of the way he needs to process things.
No, I make him tell me.
That's not you. Sometimes you got to give him space.
I know.
He doesn't want to tug it.
But
you know he will at some point.
No, he won't.
Oh, he'll just avoid it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because his parents, and his family, they don't communicate in little ways and in huge ways. Like, they don't communicate. Like, you said that you were going to leave the house by 6. No, I didn't say that. Where are you? It's like little weird and not communicating. And then big things where it's like, grandma doesn't want a dog. Oh, well, now we have 2 dogs. It's like, you know what I mean? These weird ways that they don't sit down and tell each other.
Does it always lead to booze? It's like, I'm feeling these things. Give me a drink.
No, it's not. No, it's not too bad.
I'm just tying.
That's just always there. It's not like. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying I'm always friends with guys. What were we talking? What was the beginning of that?
I don't know. I was listening to you. You're a woman.
See,
See? Now it's funny. I delivered it in such a way that's a callback. Now it's actually funny. I made that joke funny again.
Because it was like, it was meta.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. What was I saying? I was saying that I'm more friends with guys. Oh, okay. Typically in my relationships, I would be in these long-term relationships. I'm with them for a long time. And then near the end of them, I would start talking to, and I would make a new male friend, or I would be seeing old friends who were men, like you or Lucky, my friend Lucky. And
it's Lucky Yates. He's famous.
Lucky Yates, my famous friend. Lucky
you knew him
Yates.
before he was famous.
I did.
I knew him before he was famous.
I've known him since 2000, probably. That's 18 years, because I can do the math, because it's 2018.
How'd you know him before?
Because I met him before 9/11 at that pregnant bikini pageant where I met him when we went to see the regular guys perform.
I was probably there.
Yeah? Oh, cross paths. Anyway, I would start being with that person and I would feel like flirty with them and like maybe something might happen.
My charm.
I wouldn't cheat. I never cheated.
You just wanted to know that you could if you wanted.
Yeah.
You
like
had that
I would get
person
someone
in
in
your
the
pocket.
in the bullpen, right? And
warm up those pants.
Warm them up.
Yeah.
Steam them up.
That way, if this ends, I can jump right to this other one who is longing for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or at least to know that I have an option on my way out, which is something women do anyway. They make like a work husband, and then that work husband turns into like secret sex. Anyway, what I'm grateful for is that, so the last, I think like some months ago, I came to Atlanta, and Lucky and I spent almost like the whole day together. And I was at his place and we were talking for a long time, and then we went to dinner, which was just like a quick little dinner thing. And then I came back to his house and we talked some more. And I was thinking, man, if this was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I would have like wanted him to make a move, or I would have been a little bit more flirty, or just having this like sexual connection feeling, not an actual thing, but. And even with you, I feel like we would get like a little closer in some way, but like a little more, or any way that like if I hold your arm, I would feel like a little bit like.
I would take that as an invitation to sex.
Oh, good.
She's holding my arm. That means.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this: if you weren't married,
but I'm saying, but let me finish. So I'm saying that now I don't feel that, and that's not happening. That's not. it's not occurring when I'm with these people.
Because you're in a relationship that you care about.
Exactly. And it's not even like I care. I really care about this, so I can't mess it up. It's more like, oh, it's just not happening. I am able to be friends with the opposite sex and not feel sexual and be so grateful that that's not there for me to have to deal with.
But that's why I was going to ask you. So if you weren't married and you were still single at this age, do you think that feeling would still be there in such situations?
I think it would be there with you and I, but I probably would like push it a little bit more just because I could, and it would be kind of fun. But I wouldn't want to have sex because it would mess up a lot for us. And I don't think it would be like very hard. It would just be like how we were in the very beginning, where it's like, yeah, we could cuddle or something, and we weren't like sexy cuddling. We were just near each other, touching.
No, like I said, human contact can be nice sometimes. When I sit next to someone I don't know on the train,
right?
And you just touch shoulders, like this is kind of nice.
Just friends. Women do this too. Like it's like we have a female relationship.
Why does it have to be that?
Because with two women together, there's no threat of sex. And when you're with a man, it's always like, maybe he wants sex.
Yeah, but I hate that dynamic
right.
of that's what it should be. It's a man and a woman, and the guy should want to have sex.
Yeah.
Who set that rule?
I feel like you're the exception to the rule.
Well, it shouldn't be a rule. There should just be healthy, normal relationships with people.
But men are driven by different, like they can't help it. It's your biological drive.
I will tell you that I get it with sex, but because I've liked pills, it hits in the same pleasure response in your brain, and it's like it's much better. It's like I can take a pill. There's no work. And, I'm going to feel good. And then it's like sex. Sex is ridiculous. It's too much work for like 5 seconds to pay off. It's like I can take this thing and feel good for an extended period. I think that ruined my view on it too.
Really?
I mean, not forever.
Yeah.
And I'm not using at this point.
Good.
But
day by day.
But it's it's like it's lazy.
So it put that feeling in context a little bit. Like, oh, this feeling can be other things. It doesn't have to just be sex.
Again, it's not as simple as that. It's also like I had an avoidance with very close relationships. I have close relationships with friends, but it's less work because you only see them here and there. And, when you're with someone romantically, it's a relationship that requires more work and more closeness. So there was already that avoidance. And then it's like, and you could say at that point, but I like the feeling of sex, so I'm going to do that. And it's like, I don't even need to do that anymore. And it plays into this thing that this avoidance, and I can just sit over here and take a pill. But anyway, that can be another topic too. See, it's going to be difficult.
We're going to do it.
Well, any of these topics that we brought up, there's a lot of things to explore in them. So they will fill shows.
Yes.
This is just us setting things up and giving you a taste
of who we are.
Yeah.
Why we're doing it. How. When,
did we
and
hit
where.
them all? There was who, what. We did who. We did what.
Where.
And then when and where people don't really care.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do it. We live in different cities. So,
all right.
And when, I know we'll figure that out. Who, what, when, where, why. I think we kind of talked about why.
We talked about why.
And how. We haven't talked about how. So Autumn brought a little mixing board, and it's a USB mixing board, and that takes an XLR microphone. This is the how.
There's some guy out there who's really into this.
This is what I've been waiting for.
What kind of board is it?
I can take the female end of the XLR and put it into the male end of the XLR. These are the terms.
Okay.
I'm taking the male end of the XLR, and I'm going to put it in the female end in the board. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Except for we still have to figure out a name.
Yep,
and
we don't
music.
have a name.
We don't have to figure out the name now. And then we don't even use music.
We should have a little something in the beginning. And we probably have to like make it at some point. Because I don't think that we can use
Other people's music.
Yeah. I don't think we can use other people's music for the beginning.
Well, we could just use this.
An excavator, he'll do all the labor, and now we're ready to load. So load him up. Load the dump truck. Load him up.
You know what I think about when I hear that? is him like giving his all in that recording booth. Like, load the excavator when you got the dirt.
You have to.
Yeah.
you have to. I think
Load it up.
Look, if you're going to do something, no matter how
Yeah, you gotta
ridiculous
really
it
do
is,
it.
you got to commit to it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think that wraps up a good
That's
first show.
our show, is that when you do something, you really got to commit to it.
Is that the title?
Commit to it.
When you do something, you really have to commit to it. That one would be Widesrichy. No. This one's hard. This is WIDSR. I can't even. It's WIDSYRHTCTI. These letters that should never be paired together.
Widesrichy.
Yeah, there we go. That's the name of the show. Okay, so how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel like this first one was a little all over the place, which I think is how we're going to start. Just because we've never done a show together. We've never done a show. Well, you've done lots of shows alone on 99X.
Yeah, that was like talk for a minute at a time.
Right. So we've never done this. So it's going to be weird at first, and then we'll find its little groove, I think. I feel confident about that.
Yeah, the dynamic will come together more. I'm not worried about that. I'm not really worried about anything.
Yeah.
I just still think people out there are thinking, who's this?
They might.
Screw this person.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll get over that.
All right.
Okay, so there's the first episode of the yet to be titled. Oh, you're supposed to take us out.
That was the first episode of the yet to be titled show that we're doing, the podcast that we've started. And do you think we should have like a catchphrase at the end?
No.
We're all going to die.
I don't want a catchphrase.
Death is inevitable. That time isn't real. Time is a construct. Death is inevitable.
I'm fading you out.
See you next week.